Alright, here we have trick number 39, and this one is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Because at surface level, you might tend to think that 7773 is easy. You'd be forgiven for thinking so, because the highest throw that you make is a 7. So what's the big deal? But this trick is really deceptive. It is much harder than you would initially think just by looking at its structure and its numbers. And I'm not ashamed to say that this is one of the most frustrating and difficult tricks I learned so far. It's not so difficult as other things like 783 for example, but it's certainly up there. Definitely one of the more advanced 6-board tricks, despite just being 7773. Now, what makes this pattern so hard? The thing that really makes this pattern difficult is that the 3 needs to be spaced very carefully. You can't make the 3 too high, because continuously throwing high 3-ups will eventually mess up your rhythm. It will. So you want to make the 3-up as low as possible at best, but you can't make the 3 too low, because you kind of need to see the 3 in a sense. And that's why I tried to find a compromise, and I threw the 3 a little bit higher than regular, but really tried to focus on getting the 3 up clean and high. And that's the second difficult part about this trick. Because you might think it's just a 3 up, it's not that bad. But continuously throwing well spaced out 3 ups in a 6-board pattern is much harder than you would initially think. Especially if at the last throw of the 3 up, you have to make sure that the throw from the other hand, which ends up being a 3, needs to be very delicate and not go too high. So what tended to happen a lot of the time was that either the 3 up wasn't spaced properly because the last high throw was too low, or the 3 ended up being messed up and being thrown too high. And that made the pattern quite challenging to run. Also, as you can see, I kind of took a little break between each round to give myself some more time to space out the 3-up perfectly, and getting that small amount of time while helping the pattern also made it harder to run in the long run, because I needed to adjust to a new rhythm in juggling. And this trick is also one of the prime examples that I would try to bring out when people tell me that there is no such thing as rhythm in Siteswap. Because yes, in an ideal world where you can perfectly throw all of the time, then there is no rhythm. Then all of the Siteswaps have the same rhythm. But in our real world, you really have to adjust your rhythm sometimes to make a Siteswap more feasible. And if I were to juggle 773 at the same rhythm that I juggle a normal 6-board cascade, then I would probably still try to get 100 catches with it, because it would be so much more difficult. So rhythm in Siteswap is a very important tool to have to make certain Siteswaps more feasible. So in human theory, you really have rhythm in Siteswap. But I'm going off on a tangent here. And anyways, that's my opinion on 773. You can definitely nickname this trick a wolf in sheep's clothing, but at the same time I still think it's a really cool trick, and I did enjoy learning it despite how frustrating it really was. So with that in mind, I'm going to give it a solid B tier, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.